Hello everyone, welcome to my channel, The Vagabond. So, today I have thought of doing something special, something different than I usually do, and that is why I have come up with this idea of doing a chat session on something interesting every night. So, I'll be coming up with interesting topics, and these topics will be from a very particular genre, we can say, and these will be mostly like stories and interesting facts and things that are not explainable by science. So, in short, we'll be talking about paranormal sciences. Many people think that paranormal science is all but it's nothing but a nonsense, but it's not that entirely. There are things that are not explainable by science, and yet they exist. So, paranormal science is nothing but it's our thought about such incidents we cannot logically explain using science, but but still those things happen. We know those things happen, and the sad part is all when these sort of things happen, we do not have much of a proof so that we can prove it to a lot of people. Paranormal science is something like that. This chat session that I'll be doing now from now on will be mostly all about paranormal science, various topics of paranormal science. And as today is the first day, I thought of doing something that's very much known to you, known to all of us. We see movies about it, we read stories about it, we even gossip and have a lot of hear a lot of bedtime stories, scary stories, or maybe camping stories. So, so this is something that everybody has at least heard of, and some lucky or rather unlucky people have actually experienced it, maybe. So today we'll be talking about ghosts. Yes, my friend, we'll be talking about ghosts and ghost spirits, wandering souls. So we have no way to prove what they are and how they are, and if they are actually true, if they really exist, or is just a figment of our imagination. So let's see that what conclusion that we can come to at the end of this discussion. So, what do we know about ghosts? There are incidents of poltergeist activities, there are incidents of haunted houses, there are incidents of possessed people, and logical people with who try to explain everything logically. They always come up with some or the other scientific explanation for all this weird anomalies that are happening. Like for poltergeist activities, they try to find out some sort of reason, like there is a sudden knock on the door, or maybe there is always a sound on the floor that as if someone is walking around. They always try to come up with logical solutions that maybe it's a rat, or maybe it's some sort of insect, or maybe it's just small cat that gets into your house and walks around and makes you feel that that's a ghost. But or maybe in cases of possessed people, science have come up with the it's more the medical science have come up, that psychologists have come up with the term of multiple identity disorder, and they say that people can actually forget who they are at some point of time, and then actually behave and enact and actually be someone else totally different from what he is in reality. But then there are instances when people actually start speaking in different languages that they have never learned of, that they don't know, and they have never, languages from places that they have never been to. So, what kind of miracle or what kind of power is that? That a man suddenly starts speaking in some language invented in some other region that he has never been to, or maybe he gets super strength that he does or moves object that is not in reality possible by him, but he still does that. So how do science now explain them? Science has not been able to explain those things. We don't know the reason why all these things happen, what is the reason behind it. But we always hear this kind of stories. You can search the internet and there are lots of haunted stories, documentaries on haunted houses and this kind of incidents. So why is it that we are not able to explain it with the help of our science? Maybe we do not have a science that is as much developed as it needs to be to uncover the truths of this kind of hauntings, or maybe we do not have a very open and broad mind to accept that things like this can actually happen. So, what could be ghosts? What are they? Who are they? Well, we all are made up of something of a physical form, and then we have something that is not physical, something that's more of a spiritual thing. It's more like your computer, your MacBook, or your Android or iPhone that's made up of hardware, and then we have a software. We are somewhat the same. We are made up of the hardware, the body, and then we have a software that makes us alive, our soul. So it's said that every night when you go off to sleep, the soul wanders around and it's connected to the body in some way. And before waking up, the soul gets back to the body and we wake up. And probably what we remember as dream is more likely to be the things that has been seen by the soul while wandering around. Who knows where does it wander? Maybe into the future, maybe into the past, maybe into some parallel universe. Who knows what where our soul wanders while we sleep. We have no proof that whether or not our soul actually comes out of our body and wanders around. We do not have the means to prove it, but if for a moment, if we consider that to be true, then we, as an individual, we are comprised of two elements: a physical form and a spiritual form, the soul. So, what happens when this physical body dies off? The soul gets disconnected from the body and it has no more the physical form, and it shouldn't be a part of this physical three-dimensional world. It should go into some other spiritual realm, some spiritual world, or who knows where it should go. Maybe that's what we call heaven or hell. But then there are instances maybe where the soul cannot go there, or rather chooses to stay back. Maybe it has some unfulfilled wish, or maybe it has something very dear, or something that it loved a lot when he was alive. So he is not able to let go of that. Maybe a son or a daughter. So he chooses to stay close. Or maybe it's just his house that he doesn't want to let go of even after death, and he chooses to stay there. And that is the thing. That is what we might have a very faint idea of what hauntings would be, or the presence of not hauntings but the presence of a unworldly, of a soul, of something that's not physical form but it's equally alive as us, maybe more than us. But to be honest, this kind of entities, they will not be able to communicate with you directly by coming in front of you or talking to you just like any other physical form would, because that is the way everything works in a three-dimensional world. Only objects that belong in the three-dimensional world can interact with each other. So something that does not belong to this three-dimensional world will not have a direct way of communicating to us, they'll have to communicate in some way or the other. They just cannot present their entire self in front of us, because we in the three-dimensional world, we cannot perceive anything beyond this three-dimensional world. So if there is some extra dimension and these beings are from that dimension, or they actually belong from that direction, from that dimension, then we cannot perceive them entirely. They'll have to take a physical form to come in front of us and talk to us. And that is the reason why our soul has a physical form, and while we are alive, we have a body, and that is why we can interact with people. So the soul wanders around. This soul cannot interact with us directly, but it's some sort of energy that cannot directly interact with us. And we know that these energies can neither be, created or destroyed. It can transfer from one form to the other. So once the physical body dies off, the energy is in the form of a spirit or soul, and it's there at one place, maybe at a favorite spot that it used to be when it was alive in a physical form. So now this soul is there, maybe in some corner of your room, because it used to be there hundreds of years ago when it was not your room. Maybe it was not your house, it was someone else's house, and now you're staying there, but you don't know that 100 years ago there was a different man out there, and it was his favorite room. Now that he is gone, his soul still remains there. But there can be now three types of things that can happen. The soul might not be very much interested to interact with you. It might just stay in one corner observing everything going around. That's it. But then there might be an instance when the soul might try to interact with you. They cannot come in front and talk to you directly. So they'll try a very different way of talking to you. Our brain is one of the most important organs that we have, and this is probably the most powerful computer that we have. And whatever we think, whatever we imagine, it's all radiated through our brain. And how much positivity we have in ourselves and negativity we have in ourselves, everything is radiated from our brain. Sometimes some people talk about telepathic connection. It's just nothing but the frequencies from your brain is actually synced with maybe some other friend of yours, or maybe a relative of yours, or maybe the love of your life. Maybe it's in sync, and that is why whatever you think is actually transmitted into their brain, and they can feel whatever you feel. So some people call that telepathy. But then these spirits and all, they are good at all this probably, and maybe as they are a form of energy and they have a very unique frequency, if they want to interact with you, they'll have to interact through your brain. And as your brain radiates frequencies, your thoughts depends on the kind of thinking that you do. If you are thinking about things that matches with their wavelength, they might be able to connect to your brain and transmit some data. If you're thinking something bad, something scary, maybe you watched a horror movie or something, or you heard a horror story, or you heard just heard that someone had passed away, and you're scared, and you actually believe in ghosts, and you feel that someone's in your room, and this is something that matches the wavelength of the entity in your room, because maybe the entity in your room is not benevolent and it's malevolent, and it's looking for this kind of signals from your brain, so that it can hold on to and sync and then connect to your brain and then transmit some sort of vision. Maybe that's something that will scare you, something that will scramble your mind, and you maybe see someone, you see an apparition, you may see someone dead, or something that you actually later define as ghost. Even at times they can be so much powerful, because the weaker you get, the powerful they become, because they feed on your positivity, your positive vibrations. They are negative entities, and they feed on that. And the more they feed from your positive vibrations, they also raise their level of vibrations, and that is how they become powerful. And at a certain point of time they become so much powerful they can actually control your mind. It's like hacking into your system, into your computer, from the outside internet world. And once they start hacking into your system, you don't even realize the things that you'll be doing. Maybe you throw a glass around, maybe you start walking around while you're sleeping, or maybe you speak to someone, something that you don't even realize, but when you're in your senses you don't even remember about it, because all those things are done by your subconscious mind. And this entity has the full control of your subconscious mind. And mind you, your subconscious mind is probably one of the most powerful tools that he can have, and he can make you do things that you won't even imagine of. So this is what happens probably when people get possessed, when people report of poltergeist activities, when people report of seeing apparitions, some shadows, or some shadow figures, someone dead, or maybe some horrifying visions. Maybe this is what actually happens. But then, let me tell you, it's not always that way. Maybe the entity in your room is not malevolent, and it's more of a benevolent, and it's trying to help you out. So, but it will need to communicate with you, contact with you in the same way. And that is the reason why you'll have to be always positive and think something good and be happy and jolly. And when you actually think in a wavelength that they can sync with, and these benevolent entities will not have such a lower frequency or wavelength like the other negative entities. And that is why if you think of ghosts and scary stuff, these benevolent entities will not be able to sync with you, because they have a higher frequency, and you have to be on a higher level of positive vibration and positivity in you, so that they can sink in and connect to you and give you certain important information, or maybe something useful, or help you out, or give you a beautiful dream, something that you would always want. In other words, not harming you, rather helping you, you know helping you in various ways. So these are probably the two types of entities: the benevolent, the malevolent. And then there might be just a form of entity that that's just stuck in some corner of your room and just observing things, and is not bothered about you or anything else. He just loves his place, and he wants to be there, and that's it. So if this is to be true, and this has actually been explained by a lot of philosophers and paranormal investigators. So if this is actually to be true, then what do we learn from this thing? We learn that we always need to be brave and positive about everything in life. We cannot be negative. Our thoughts cannot be filled with negative frequencies, and we cannot think about things bad that will happen every time. Yes, we know that we are human, and bad thoughts might come into our mind, and we might be scared. But then it is up to us when we try to rectify it, and we console ourselves, and we actually make ourselves understand that bad things will not happen, and believe that something good will happen. And when we are scared after watching a horror movie, or maybe after witnessing some horrific incident, and we are scared, we have to be brave and believe that's not the end of the world, and we cannot be so much scared. things are gonna happen and turn out to be right, and it's gonna be a bright morning the next day. So we'll have to believe in all these things. We'll have to be positive in every possible way, and we have to always make sure that our vibrations, our positivity in our body, in our mind, in our brain, should not go, below a certain level towards negativity. Because once we start going down into negativity, there are negative entities all around, and they will try to sync with you. They will try to connect with you and try to feed off your positive energy. In other words, harming you in various ways. So it's always good, and it's always advisable, and that is what I would advise you guys to be. Watch horror movies, enjoy horror stories, read them, but don't be scared. Believe in yourself. No one can touch you, no negative entity can touch you. You don't need to be religious for that. You don't need to have your religious book in your hand to get rid of this. You just need to believe in yourself, believe in good, that something good is going to happen. If you are a religious type, then go ahead. If that's what gives you strength, then go ahead, grab your book and believe in good. And if you are atheist or you don't believe in a religion or God, then at least believe in good, because that is always there. So believe in good and believe in positivity, believe in being happy, believe that nothing negative can ever touch you, nothing bad is ever gonna happen to you. And trust me, you'll never ever encounter a negative entity in your life, no matter if you even spent a night in a haunted house. So that's it for today. I hope you have enjoyed this discussion, and if you have some questions, or if you want me to discuss on a very particular topic about paranormal science, please do mention that in the comment section, and I'll surely check that up. If I have knowledge about it, it's good. If not, then I'll try to learn and know more about it and try to explain you. So if you want me to do a session on a specific topic that you really are interested in, please let me know. And if you have some question about today's session, then please also ask me in the comment section. So that's it for today. I hope you have enjoyed this session, and I'll be back once again with another topic from paranormal science. So that's it for today. Goodbye.